Hey there, story seekers! Ready for a true tale of karma from r/TalesFromRetail? Today we'll dive into the recurring saga of Mr. Green, the persistently problematic patron of a hipster clothing store. Let's just say he's the kind of customer that gives demanding a whole new meaning. Alrighty, let's dive in. A tale from retail in which a difficult customer finally gets what's coming to him, posted by Schizophrenic. Everyone knows a Grinch, a Scrooge, or a C. Montgomery Burns. These are individuals who, for whatever reason, make it their mission to ruin the happiness of others. In normal, everyday life, we can ignore such Scrooges, or if they're particularly terrible, punch them in the face and be done with it. However, when you have a Scrooge for a customer, you unfortunately cannot punch or ignore them. Such is the case with my store's Mr. Green, name edited to protect the innocents, well actually the a-holish. Mr. Green is past the peak of his midlife crisis. His body is slowly but surely pushing the hair plugs out of his head. He seems to have developed a tolerance for diet pills, as his spare tire has returned with a vengeance. The credit cards he was issued to finance his second childhood are increasingly coming up declined, and his 2008 Mustang convertible has age-old bird feces stains on the leather from the numerous times he's parked it without putting the top back on. If it were not for his pugnacity, Mr. Green would be a pitiable fellow. Mr. Green visits our clothing shop at least 3 times a week, always following the same routine. On Monday, he comes in and buys a lot of clothing. On Tuesday, we'll receive a call from Mr. Green, informing us that he's dissatisfied with the clothing. On Wednesday, he'll return to the store to return the items with which he's dissatisfied. On Thursday, we'll receive another call in which he insists that one of his many soon-to-be-defunct credit cards was not credited back the correct amount. He gives us a day off on Friday, though we don't know why. On Saturday, he'll return to argue and haggle with our manager to try to receive more money than he's owed. Week in, week out, this is how it goes with Mr. Green. In and of itself, this would not be a reason to dislike the man. A customer may be challenging or even demanding, but that alone doesn't make them an a-hole. Being an a-hole about it is what makes him an a-hole. He has on several occasions insulted our staff, even using the N-word on one of our cashiers when the total of his purchase exceeded his original estimate. He parks in handicapped spaces. Spaces, yes, that's plural. He drives his unsightly Mustang in, facing the store laterally. Whenever he's confronted about it, he shrugs, saying, "The sooner I'm done here, the sooner the spaces will be free again. Chop, chop." He's been asked to leave multiple times after sexually harassing female, and often underage, customers, each time threatening to sue if he was manhandled. And he would always get away with all of it because the owner was his best high school buddy. That was until recently. Last week, our owner sold out his franchise to the corporate company from which he had purchased the license. We, the employees, feared this meant that the store would simply close, and we'd be out of jobs. But mercifully, Teenage Hipster Clothing Store Inc. decided to keep our location open. They promoted one of our floor managers, Tony, who had been called the N-word by Mr. Green, to the position of general manager. And our hourly wage was raised by 25 cents. Suffice to say, we're all ready to salute our benevolent corporate overlords, but the best was yet to come. The night before his first shift as general manager, a Friday, and obviously after his promotion had been announced to the rest of the employees, one of the guys asked Tony what he planned to do about Mr. Green. Tony, already the model of a corporate type, said only, "Just do your jobs like you always do, and don't worry about it." The next day, Saturday, Mr. Green showed up just like always to try to wring more money than he was owed out of us. He parked across the 2 closest handicap spaces, just like always. He marched into the store and asked to be shown to the men's section, even though he knew where it was by heart. But before anyone could even approach, Tony was already there. Tony positioned himself between Mr. Green and the rest of the store proper on the tile foyer directly in front of the automatic sliding doors. Tony held an object in his hand which I didn't immediately recognize. I feared momentarily that it might have been a weapon. I couldn't hear what Tony said to Mr. Green, but the tone with which he said it was low and threatening. My fears grew. Is Tony about to shoot Mr. Green? Mr. Green's eyes widened as Tony spoke. At first, I attributed this to being threatened with bodily harm, but I watched the expression grow from one of surprise to indignation. "What the F are you talking about?" Mr. Green screeched. "I want to see former owner's name right now." More hushed conversation from Tony, who had begun to draw himself up to his full height of 6'3". I was now certain that Tony was about to murder Mr. Green right there on the tile floor. "F you!" Mr. Green roared. "I've been coming here for years. You can't just throw me out. I haven't even done anything." At this point, Tony presented the item. He held it in front of his own face, and I finally recognized a Polaroid camera. It flashed as Tony held it steady, momentarily disorienting Mr. Green, who then launched into a full-on tantrum. Tony walked away from Mr. Green. As he passed by me toward the offices in the back of the store, he growled, "Don't let him have anything, and make sure he doesn't steal anything." Not far behind him, jogging and all the while cursing a blue streak, was Mr. Green, demanding that the picture Tony had taken was his property, that he had no right, etc., etc. When he got to me, I politely placed myself between him and the entrance to the office, explaining, "I'm sorry, Mr. Green, employees only." "BS," he declared, trying to walk around me. I quickly backed up, positioning myself directly in front of the doorway to the offices. "I'm really sorry, Mr. Green, but you can't go back there." He looked about, ready to body check me at this point, so I shrugged and moved out of the way. Mr. Green gave me a filthy look as he moved and tried to open the door, which was locked. Mr. Green began to pound on the door, making threats, legal, bodily, and metaphysical. He went on like this for about a solid minute before Tony opened the door and stepped out. Mr. Green braced himself as Tony returned, ready for a fight. But Tony sidestepped him and walked straight to me. He handed me a stack of papers. Each was a flyer bearing the words "persona non grata" above a photograph of Mr. Green in mid-tirade. "Put these on all of the entrances and behind every cashier's station," Tony said, speaking slowly, his voice an andante bass of angry determination. Mr. Green had leaned over to see what it was that Tony had handed me and started anew his protestations. Tony paid him no mind and brushed past him back into the office. Mr. Green continued his howling and pounding on the door, looking like the big bad wolf if the big bad wolf had let himself go and tried to cover it up with hipster clothing. He noticed me turning to walk to the entrance and came towards me saying, "If you put those up, I will sue you for defamation of character and discrimination." I was unsure of what to do because I don't want to get sued, even if it's pretty unlikely, but relishing the idea of humiliating Mr. Green. I was saved from hesitation by an announcement over the store's PA. It was Tony's voice, calmly announcing, "To the driver of the yellow Mustang convertible, your car is being towed." There was a moment of silence as both Mr. Green and I came to understand what that meant. Quicker than I've ever seen him move, Mr. Green skittered down the aisle towards the entrance. I followed and looked out the large glass doors at the entrance to our store to see Mr. Green arguing with the tow truck operator who had already begun to load his car into the bed of the truck. When I turned around, there was Tony with a grin a mile wide on his face, the same grin which blossomed on my own face. We haven't seen Mr. Green at all this week, and I'm starting to think that we never will again. This might be a very good year indeed.
Oh boy, Mr. Green sounds like an absolute treat, doesn't he? I can just imagine him pulling up, parked diagonally across not one but two handicapped spots, strutting into the store like he owns the place. And the nerve of this guy, criticizing the staff, haggling over prices, and creating a fuss every other day. But my absolute favorite part? The sweet, sweet justice of his car being towed. Karma works in mysterious ways, my friends. A moment of silence for our fallen soldier, the yellow Mustang convertible. She really didn't deserve that kind of owner. And let's give a round of applause to Tony, ladies and gentlemen. A promotion, a pay raise, and the satisfaction of putting Mr. Green in his place. Talk about a hat trick of happiness. Honestly, I'd pay good money to see the look on Mr. Green's face when he realized his reign of retail terror was over. Remember, folks, be nice to retail workers. They remember everything. And who knows? One of them might just become your worst nightmare. Cheers to 2023 being Mr. Greenless. Hey, wait! As always, don't forget to kindly tap the like button, share, subscribe, and let me know in the comments below what you would have done if you were in this situation. Stay safe out there in that crazy world. Much love, peace.